everybody. I'm jamming out by myself today. What do you think about that? Greetings, salutations. Facebook Live here, Chamber Chat with the Tricounty Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Bill Vitiello. I'm the Director of Institutional Relationships and Marketing for the Victory Bank in Limerick. Welcome to another episode. Again, I think we're about almost a little past halfway through the season here. So let's have a lot more episodes. We're going right up until Thanksgiving. So for all those of you who have been watching, just want to say a genuine thank you. And also listening via the podcast, I want to say thank you as well. As time goes by, we keep filling up with guests who are interested in spreading word about their business, but our viewership and our listenership keeps growing as well. So word is spreading, and we appreciate you doing that for us by listening or by watching. So thank you. I am flying solo today. Eileen has previous commitments, so she's not at the president's desk. So I'm just going to do a real quick from Bill's desk, maybe. Wait a second. Let me get a pen. Let me get a Victory Bank pen. There you go, right there. All right. Shameless plug. Sorry, I had to do it. But anyway, I just wanted to tell everybody I had the opportunity to attend a virtual networking session last week with the Tri-County Chamber. And, I'll tell you what, on the heels of John Whitehall's interview about how to handle yourself virtually, it was so good to connect with everybody on there. We had plenty of time to go around and kind of share stories. There was definitely a common ground between, I would say, most of us. The common ground is that we're all members, but past that, where somebody went to school or where somebody grew up or some life experiences that they had, maybe even a hobby. We talked about yoga, we talked about Penn State, we talked about all kinds of stuff. So, I would just encourage the membership to engage in those type of activities that the chamber does provide. And for those who aren't members, I would encourage you to contact the chamber and see how you can be involved and what your involvement might mean for your particular business or, your staff as well. So thank you. I am signing off from Bill's desk with my Victory Bank pen. So there you go. Okay, everybody. We have a guest who is going to be joining us now. This is actually the first time we've ever met. So it's great. It's just like being at a networking event, only virtual and being recorded. So there's absolutely no pressure here whatsoever. My guest right now is Navid Moosa. He is manager at EXP Realty, LLC. Navid, come on in, man. How you
Hey, how you
doing?
doing, Bill? Good, man. How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm digging the brick background there. What's good? Where are you at?
Oh, so I'm actually the office is downtown Pottstown, right on High Street,
Okay.
right across from the Pottstown terminal or High Street
Nice.
terminal rather.
Yeah.
It's an older building. It used to be a shoe store about 67 years ago, and this whole thing was gutted out. And so when we were cleaning it, this whole brick wall was still somewhat intact. So we kind of wanted to keep that and like the original floors in place. So, but thank you. Yeah, it goes from here into my office and way to the back. So it's actually just pretty nice.
Nice. I like it. I wonder if Victory Bank would ever consider me taking this wall out to see if there's some brick behind that. No, I dig that vibe. It's, I don't know, it makes me very creative when I see stuff like that. But anyway, welcome. It's so nice to meet you. Again, we haven't had a chance to connect in person. I know, COVID has been a thing, for a while, but it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, yes, COVID has definitely changed a lot of things, right? Especially the way guys like you, guys like me, who just interact, and we need that and kind of thrive off of that person to person
Yeah.
energy. Yeah, so
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah, totally agree. So again, not knowing anything about you, I mean, I do have your website pulled up, so I have a feeling we could potentially be here for a while,
Yeah.
because you're into a lot of good stuff. So tell me a little bit about you. What do you do?
Uh, so basically, I mean, I've been involved in real estate for about 20 years now. What I've kind of transitioned on to what the website's going to show you there is basically talks about my experiences and how to, if you're a real estate agent, how you can take your real estate agent business to the next level. And right now, especially with COVID, we've seen a lot of investors hit the marketplace in general, whether it be stocks, crypto, real estate, and whatnot. And so, what I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, for a whole bunch of years, and everyone's been asking me, you should train, you should coach, you should train and coach, so on and so forth. Is COVID kind of forced me to say, you know what, let me finally do this course. Let me create a course that helps agent uh, go ahead and actually take their business to the next level by working with investors, by taking the tools that we've already given to us as real estate agents, and how we can start looking at investment properties for ourselves as well and create our own inventory. As we all know, there's a lot of competition out there always, and that's fine. I think competition is healthy, but to sit back and kind of wait for business to come to you is a very lazy approach, in my opinion, and you can't really rely on that. You have to go and get the business. And so when you put on the investor hat, you can kind of create your own inventory. You can find properties out there that you want to buy, renovate, put back on the market, rent, or whatever. And so what I was noticing in the past, I would say 2 years, was a lot of agents were just worried, right? You do have the bigger name companies out there that are buying properties by the bulk, and they're buying them up, and it's getting a little bit scary to some because you're like, hey, I've been doing my business this in this manner for so many years, it's not working. How do I evolve? How do I change without going to a different career path, essentially? And so that's where the agent tour class came in. And that's a reason, one of the reasons why I actually liked EXP Realty when I was looking for a brokerage was um, there's a lot of state laws involved, right? With anything, there's, how do you want to promote? You got to make sure your broker's promoted and the agencies, all that kind of stuff, and that's understandable. What I liked about EXP Realty was, although they understand they're the company, they understand that they're not the brand. The brand is the agent, right? That the rapport built with clients and customers, sellers and buyers and investors, was because of the agent and the relationship that they had. And so they kind of give people like me the freedom to brand ourselves and to promote ourselves within the guidelines, without being all just about EXP. They really respect the agents. They really respect what we're about, and they give us enough tools to promote ourselves in a very positive manner, in a very virtual manner.
Well, and it's all about with being in real estate. You're right. Even though it's a transaction and it's somewhat transactional in nature, the relationship with your real estate agent should be just that. It should be a relationship. I
Correct.
want to go. I want to go back to your earlier point where we were talking about COVID and everything.
Mhm.
Do you feel like agents in general adapted or adjusted to the virtual space, or do you feel like you were saying, you and I could probably better connect and feel each other's energy when we're in the same room? Do you feel like enough agents adjusted to that? And what are your thoughts going forward?
In my personal opinion, in my experience, I'm going to say no, not enough did. At least, let me back that up. Not enough responded to it quickly enough. There's a lot of people I talk to who just stop marketing. Like we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's happening. Can we show a house? Can we not show a house? Can we look into a property? You know, who does COVID affect? There was so much information out there, or misinformation, depending on how you look at it, that we didn't know which way to go. So some people just stopped their business completely and did nothing at all, which I think was a mistake. And some people just went on like life was on, like never even happened. And I think more people stopped than anything else. There was a few, but but later on they kicked in, right? So for example, if March 1st is when COVID hit, then it wasn't until May 1st or June 1st till people start saying, okay, let me start try something new, right? Where some people was like, okay, March 1st it hit, let's talk about it. And 3 days later, they were back at it again. They
Mm.
adjusted, right? And I don't think many people did that. At least those who I talked to, a lot of them were like, well, I don't know what to do. Um, those who I talked to in my inner circle, in my sphere of influence, if you will, they were just chugging along. And they're like, we're not stopping. What we're going to do is keep marketing. And if our phone rings, we're going to then ask the client, how do you want to proceed? What makes you feel comfortable? Right. And a lot of that did not happen, which was a shame, because I think there's a lot of business that was lost, opportunities that is. But at the same time, in, with every, how you want to phrase it, anytime you have a moment of adversity or a moment of when you're tested, that's when you're really going to know what you're made of and what your team's made of. And so I think that's what kind of happened. It made me look at myself. It made me look at my team. It made me know that the team that I have in place was actually a solid team. I was still building it. It was still fresh, but they handled it very, very well. And I did talk to other agents, and unfortunately, some were just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. You
Yeah,
know,
I think you're right. I think COVID tested all of us. I wanted to ask, and I also wanted to say for folks who are watching this, you might think, okay, this is a bit narrow of a topic, like it really doesn't affect me, sort of thing. Um, if you're not in the real estate
Oh,
industry, but I would say a few things here. I would say one, there's a lot of points here that Navid is making that they span all industries. It's a mindset, it's an action and reaction type of mindset. If you are a real estate agent, obviously, he'll provide excellent tutelage with this. And then again, if you're not again, if you're not a real estate agent, you get into the mindset of a real estate agent. So as you're shopping around or you need to engage, you know what to expect. It can't be somebody who's just a name and just say, okay, I want to go with
correct.
X person. You get into the mindset a little bit about what some of these agents, and in this case, an agenteur, is thinking. So could you explain, and I apologize, I keep going back and forth to my screen.
No,
Otherwise,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I
That's
would get
fair.
lost here. The memory's short nowadays, Naveed, let me tell you. Um, you have all these modules here, and they all cover different things. So can you just briefly explain each module
Sure.
and what to expect there?
Absolutely. So the agent tour course, the name is basically made up of you take an agent and an entrepreneur and you combine them, right? So that's agent tour. That's the nuts and bolts of the phrase agent tour, the name. Um, to kind of real quickly before I address that, you had said about the mindset. If you look on the website, there's actually a podcast I have, and it's called the Mindset Movement. And it's not
I was
just
gonna
for,
I was
and
gonna ask you
it's
about that. Yeah,
yeah, and it's not just, and we'll go back to that, but it's not just real estate agent
sure.
related. So to answer your question, so the modules, if you look at them, they basically are numbered 1 through 5. And the way the courses are set up is, again, if you're a real estate agent, we have the introduction course, which talks about the overview. Module 1 gives you the basics, the foundation. We'll go over different terminology that you should know or familiarize yourself with. And by the way, this course isn't only for agents. If you're an investor and you want to get into the mind of an agent, or if you're like, well, I want to get into investing, but I'm not sure what kind of questions to ask a real estate agent, this course is for you as well. So module 1 will give you the basics. We'll go over keywords, phrases, terminologies that you hear from underwriters, appraisers, real estate agents in general, and the experienced and novice as well. Module 2, we turn around and then we'll go into some of the fundamentals. We'll talk about how to assess properties, like a checklist of things to have, and how you can kind of size up to know if it's truly a deal. And then module 3 goes into, we talk about how to work with the investor. We talk about how the investors can interview an agent, how agents can interview an investor. The term investor, in my opinion, has taken somewhat of a skewed stance, unfortunately, where someone watches something at 3 a.m. or go on YouTube University and they're like, oh, I'm an investor, but they haven't invested anything, right? So as an agent, we don't really sell real estate. We don't sell real estate. We sell our time. We sell our time. We sell our expertise. And so we want to make sure that it's efficient as it can be. So we want to make sure that the person we're working with, if they're an investor or they're first time home buyer or seller, that we know what we're getting ourselves into and we know how to properly handle that situation. That's not to say if you have never invested and you call yourself an investor that I or my team or anyone is not going to work with you. It just knows how much time and where we need to start at. You can't treat someone who's bought 10 properties with the same way you treat someone who's never bought a property at all. Right? It's a little more hand holding involved. And that's absolutely right. And we cover all those in the modules. And then the last module, we bring it all home. We take the system that you learned in module 4 and the how building your team, and we take everything and put it together and actually put it to work. Because a lot of time you'll see these courses, and yes, it is on you. You do have to go do the work. No one's going to do it for you. It's just that module 5 kind of gives you that extra kick in the butt, if you will, to say, okay, you learned all this. Now, what's my first step? Where do I start? And so that's what module 5 does. So it's kind of like a thing I call cradle to the grave, where we take you from step 1 to the very last step of how to assess a property, how to handle your client, investor or not, how to handle yourself and carry yourself as a licensed realtor, and how to just make sure that at the end of the day, you don't focus on the money, you focus on the client. If you focus on the client, everything else, and I say, and at the end of every podcast, I say the same thing. If you focus on the client, everything else will fall into place, right? Because if you chase the money, if you're looking for that payday, once you get it, you're just going to look for another payday and another payday. You're never going to focus on the task at hand. And if you take care of your client, you're also going to get the payday. Your client's going to be happy, and your client's going to refer business to you, right? So that's almost like free marketing if you think about it, right? Because it's the power of two.
And I think the key and hold that, if I can just add here, when you have a relationship with your client, you're creating that open line of communication. So
Absolutely.
there is nothing in between there. There's if the buyer is feeling a certain way, they communicate that to you, and you take that information and you work through it. And likewise, if there's things that you need to communicate, the buyer can then respond because you guys do have that open relationship. It's not treated like a transaction. It is relationship based. So we all know how important communication is, just in life in general, but especially as you're going through real estate transactions. So important, or just even any business,
Yeah, I was saying any
any
business. Yeah.
any business transaction. Sure, for all the business owners who are watching. All right, so I'm curious now. Tell me about the podcast.
All right. So the podcast it's been almost going on 2 years now, that
Good for
it's
you.
been going
That's
active.
awesome.
Thank you. And when I first started, it was for real estate agents only. That's what it was for. But as I was doing more episodes, and I would get some feedback from from the one or two listeners that I had, and just talking to people about it, they would say, what you're talking about doesn't just apply to real estate. It applies to marriages. It applies to plumbers, electricians, and anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, whether if it's your 9 to 5 or your 5 to 9. Anyone who wants to be self-employed, this applies to them. So it went from Navid Moosa, the agent tour course, to the basics, to this mindset movement, because that's what it was. So I was happy that you said that it's a mindset, because that's the message I always want to convey, that no matter what you do, yeah, it's a job. I get it, but you don't want it to feel like a job. You want it to feel like a lifestyle. And in order for it to feel like a lifestyle, it needs to be in your mindset. And I'm not saying you need to eat, breathe, and sleep at 24/7, but it shouldn't be something that when someone asks you about what you do for a living, you go, here's what I do. Like you don't want to like be stressed and talking about it. It should come out with flow. It should come out with ease. It should be something that you want to, share with other people. And so the podcast kind of encourages how, listen, whether you're starting from scratch, whether you're 25 or 45 or 65, it doesn't matter. You're not in this alone. We are here for you. And a lot of the problems that you think you have, you're not the only one. You're not the only one with these problems. There's a lot of things out there, but on top of that, most of these problems have a solution. So the podcast addresses the problem and the solution. And again, I have people who are truck drivers who listen to me, people who are pediatricians who listen, people who are restaurateurs who listen. And obviously other real estate agents, and I bank finance managers. I've got car dealership people. They all listen to it because they take a little bit of the mindset and they apply it to their business, and they tweak it however they see fit. And that's what I love about the podcast. My my I have a quarterly meeting with my CPA, and I told him about the podcast, and he said, "So what's your angle like on this?" I'm like, I don't have an angle. Like, is there a money play? I'm like, no, not at all. There's no money play at all. I says, I just want to give information out there. I know when I started years ago, information wasn't readily available. We didn't have social media. We didn't have smartphones. I know I'm dating myself by saying that, but it's
It's
true.
all right. It's all
We
good.
didn't have those things, and all I know is that the struggles that I went through, that I was put through, which unnecessary struggles, I didn't want that to anyone else to go through it. I didn't want people to get discouraged to be an entrepreneur, to go and work for themselves, whether it be part-time or full-time. So that's what the podcast is about. It's a legit mindset movement, encouragement, and perseverance. No more, no less.
So I see that you're already 83 episodes in. So kudos to you for the
Thank you.
consistency. I know it's a grind.
It is. It is. We
But
try to do
but
an episode every Wednesday. We try to launch a brand new episode. Like I think Wednesday 9 o'clock or something like that is when a new
that was
episode comes
yeah, that
out.
was my other thing. You're doing it on a weekly basis. So and it seems like it's really diversified in topics. So like you said, most anybody can listen, even though, in the beginning it was kind of geared towards real estate.
Yeah.
You certainly could have anybody have a listen to it. All right. So tell me about your shirt.
Oh, unemployable. I mean, do it this way. I don't know how to write it, but anyway, so my shirt's called unemployable. I actually have a website called what is it called? Unbrand.me. So unbrand.me. And what it is I was talking to somebody and I told them I was job hopping and did everything else. And they're like, man, you're unemployable. You can't work for anybody else. And I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good thing. So I just made a shirt up. I made one shirt. That was it.
Okay.
I made one shirt, but then I ended up going to a local hardware store, and about a dozen people approached me. Where do I get that shirt? Where do I get that shirt? I was like,
Nice.
I just made it. So I said, I called my nephew up who has a store, online store. I said, yo, can you help me out? I said, I've never done an online store like this. He said, yeah, sure. So so what you're seeing, if you're on the website, just basically it encourages what the podcast encourages. For you, don't deny yourself. Don't deny yourself. Um, you are worth it. You're worth taking that extra step. We put so much time and energy into other people to seeing their successes that the minute we take time for ourselves, it seems selfish, right? So we are apologetic for that. We say, I'm sorry, let me put you first. But how can you can't be the best version for somebody if you're not the best version of yourself.
Hmm.
So the unemployable, the unbrand.me website is just talks about briefly, don't hold yourself back, don't put yourself to restraint. Embrace who you are, what you are, and let the world know about it, with respect and morality and ethically, of course. But let the world know that you're here to stay, and you're here to provide the best version of yourself. And so let's empower everybody to do that. So the unemployable brand is kind of talks about that.
Yeah, and those are great words, and I think folks, look, we're all running like 100 miles an hour here with whatever we're doing, and I think it's difficult for folks to come down off of that. So whether they're constantly in the chase or whatever, you're working a ton of hours, it's difficult for people to realize that. And maybe once they do realize it, they may not even recognize what they need to do next. They're like, okay, everything stopped for the moment. What happens next?
Yeah.
And I already
Yeah.
see by the title of some of your podcast episodes that they probably get into that a little bit. So I would encourage you folks to go to Navid's podcast. Navid, we just have a few more moments left. What else would
Sure.
you like to share with everybody?
No, so we're EXP Realty. We're located at 313 East High Street in Pottstown. If you ever see the lights on, come knock on the door. We'll happy to let you in. Obviously, the website's at the bottom. Please visit the website. Listen, if you are somebody who's out there who is just, whether you're at your first house, your move down home, or if you're looking to invest, uh, visit the website, drop me a line, and let's talk. There's enough education out there. There's enough opportunity out there that anybody can get into investing. And I think a lot of us are just scared to ask. So consider my website a safe space. Consider this office a safe space that you can ask whatever you want. The dumb questions are the ones you don't ask. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. There's just, a dumb question we don't ask. A closed mouth doesn't eat. I can go on and on. But at the same time, just uh, let your defenses down and know what you're worth. And if you're not sure, let me help you find that.
That's awesome. And thank you so much for being on today. And, when I sat there and I was doing some research on you, I said, here we go, another real estate agent, right? But no, hear me out for a second. This is for the audience too, because we had Matt Green on, we had Greg Erb from Herb Realty, and they were in back-to-back episodes. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, how are we going to make this episode different, than going over the market and said,
Yeah.
and that information was very important. What both of those guests provided was excellent information about the community and about the current state of the market. But what you're providing here is definitely something a little bit different and does also cross multiple disciplines. So thank you so much for joining today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Sure. And hopefully we get a chance to maybe get together for coffee sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. I don't live too far from. I know where you're at, so I'll definitely
Okay.
swing by. All right.
All right. Good man. Good man. Yeah. Drop me an email.
All right. Thanks for your
All right.
time. We appreciate it.
Thanks again. And just stay tuned for a moment here before you disconnect.
Yep, will do.
Thanks everybody for tuning into this episode of the Chamber Chat podcast with the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce. Once again, my name is Bill Vitiello. I'm the Director of Institutional Relationships and Marketing for the Victory Bank. And until we connect again, all my best. Bye for now.